Hi, this is Alex Camet from North Sales Wind Design. Today we're going to look at Vince Brun, John Fuller, Willem Van Wey, and Victor Diaz de Leon as they sail the J70, show us how to do some tacks, some jibes, and some leeward mark roundings. You want to watch how they try to keep the boat at the same amount of heel all the time, even when the puff hits. So you're watching the steering as the boat heads up when the puff hits, and also the main sheet going in and out, and then the crew work as well. The crew moves in and out depending on the pressure. So if there's a big puff, they lean out a little bit more, and if they need to, because it's really light, they move into the boat. Watch the crew through the tack as they also stay to leeward to roll the boat, and then quickly flatten the boat after the tack so that the boat will accelerate and the keel will get working right away. When you're sailing upwind, you want to keep a consistent angle of heel. So that means using the tiller a little bit to steer the boat if it starts to heel by heading up a little bit, or by easing the main sheet to maintain that same degree of heel. You can see here that they need to adjust the jib so they lean in, push on the line because they've got cleats on both sides, and then they get ready for the tack. The middle person comes in first, gets ready to uncleat the jib sheets, and that way giving room to the other two crew members also to be able to turn around and come in. They roll through the tack, roll the boat, jib comes back in again, and the crew switches sides and flattens the boat. Real important to flatten the boat after the tack to get the boat to accelerate. Watch as the team prepares for the leeward mark rounding. You can see Vince driving, starting to pull the traveler up on the port side. John Fuller in the middle, preparing the backstay by pulling it on. Willem Van Wey pulling the slack out of the weather sheet. And Victor getting ready to get the spinnaker down. One thing that's really important is for the bow person to grab the spinnaker from the middle of the foot, not at the clew or towards the tack. You want to grab it right at the middle, grab as much sail air as you can. Make sure that the weather sheet, or what is now the lazy sheet, drops down below the spinnaker. So you want to reach over the spinnaker sheet, grab the foot of the spinnaker, and pull that into the boat. The spinnaker trimmer at this point is now letting off the pole and the tack line so that the spinnaker can come in after they've let down the halyard and getting ready for the rounding. Important to note the way that the boat was also maneuvered at this mark rounding. They didn't come straight into the mark, they went actually a little bit more to the right of the mark, got the spinnaker down, reached a little bit, so accelerated, and then turned at the leeward mark, had everybody already ready to go upwind, already with the crew hiking and everybody trimming the sails properly around the mark. Here's another leeward mark rounding here, just from a little different angle. The spinnaker trimmer is getting ready to pull in the weather sheet. The next person back is pulling on the backstay and getting the traveler ready. And then you see the bow person stepping up to get ready to grab the sail. Grabs it on the foot, pulls it over the lazy sheet, grabs a bunch of it, and then puts it right into the spinnaker bag. Lets the halyard come down as well. Already got the crew hiking out, sails are trimming and boat's turning. And it's not tipping over either. There's a nice steady 5-10 degrees of heel. During the jibe, it's important to try to get the spinnaker around before the main comes across. You can see that the spinnaker is already filled on the new side before the boom even comes across the boat. So that way, as soon as the main comes across, then the spinnaker is already filled. Everybody can hike out and flatten the boat out. For this jibe, you're going to see that the crew is already positioned for light air, so they're sitting farther forward up against the cabin top. The spinnaker trimmer is going to be the first one to stand up, start pulling on the new weather sheet. Trim, 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 trim. Get the spinnaker around. Slow roll the boat. The flatten with the trim. And the boat accelerates out of the jibe. Watch how they set themselves up here. They're coming in on starboard. They go for a slow jibe. They move the boom across. The spinnaker's still flying, so they're wing and wing for a few seconds, lets them get down towards the mark, and then they do the douse. Same maneuver every time. The spinnaker's on the weather side. The bow person grabs the spinnaker from the foot over grabs it from above the lazy sheets, and then pulls it into the cockpit and puts it in the bag. And then the middle person who's helped with the backstay, the traveler, can get ready to hike out. Here's another look at a jibe. Weather sheet coming on, jibe the spinnaker, then jibe the main, and flatten the boat out and accelerate.